Welcome back to Shooting the Shits. I think we're on episode 4 now with another fantastic guest. I forgot to ask you before we went live, so I will have it clarified for everyone in the world who's going to watch this, the 50 people or so. I always want to say Beth Tabler, but I'm like 100% certain it's Tabler.
It's Tabler.
Okay.
Yeah, but at this point.
All right, so Beth Tabler,
yeah,
who works with Grimdark magazine, and before we go, blog, 2 of my favorite review sites for indie authors. Love both of them. I have the links in the description down below for anyone who wants to check them out. But before we kind of get started talking about anything like that, let's just hear more about you. Tell people who you are, Beth.
Okay. I am a suburban mom. Let's see. I used to be a architect, landscape architect. I used to design parks and stuff. And then in 2008, when we had the big crash, I lost my job.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I kind of went in a different direction. And I, on a lark, decided, hey, I'm gonna do the blogging thing. Originally, before we go, was not about books specifically. It was about bucket list type items, because I've always been a list person. Love doing bucket list stuff, and that was supposed to be my chronicle of me doing bucket list stuff. But I read so much and I love book lists that it just evolved into a book site. And then I got involved with the Twitter community, and I saw that December, I can't even remember the name of it. It's a challenge to post every day in December. Well, I can do that, I can do that. So I posted every day in December. It's like, well, that was really fun. And so I started this journey of writing, and I look at the stuff that I wrote in the beginning. I don't consider myself any sort of writer like you guys. But yeah, I think I would like to connect with people, and that's the best part of sharing my love of books. And so it's evolved, and I got involved in the indie community, and then James from Grimdark magazine DM'd me and asked me if, I guess he read some of my reviews, and asked me if I'd be interested in basically auditioning. Hi, John. One of my favorite people. Asked me if I wanted to basically audition. So I wrote a review for, see, can't remember the name of books. One of my favorite series, actually. Give me a minute. Anyway, so
I wrote a review. If you want to look it up, you can. It's not a big deal.
I wrote a review for it, and it went well. And then very prolific. I had a large backstock of reviews that I rewrote. And I've always read pretty dark fantasy, like Dark Little Evil Heart. And it went from there. And then I got involved with the leadership side. And that was, I started pitching. I would basically cold call publishers, cold email publishers. And I'd tell them, hey, this is who I am. This is a sample of some of the writing I've done. I would like to interview such and such. And that has snowballed. And so now
you've been getting some big hits.
Yeah. So now I've interviewed some of my heroes. And that is probably one of the coolest things I think that has ever happened, in my life.
That's really cool. I'm actually really surprised at how I was going to use the word easy. I don't think easy is the right word, but how accessible maybe a lot of the authors are. I kind of I expected it to be harder for people to, I guess, get in touch with them. But it seems like even the bigger ones, like who are, huge, right? New York Times bestsellers, they come on to even like, some smaller YouTube channels
Mhm.
that, whatever, and that's awesome because I would love to talk myself with more authors as well. Right here, maybe, but and seeing, them being so willing to talk with small YouTubers, all these bloggers and review sites. It's just really cool. And so I'm really happy that you were able to get to talk to all those people, and hopefully you get to keep talking to more people because you guys at both Before We Go blog and Grimdark magazine do fantastic stuff. I love reading reviews on both websites, and I let's just show you. We can put the quote.
Wow! Wow!
So that's on the hardcover of that, but hello.
Hello. That's amazing. Yeah, like that that's the best thing ever. That's the best thing ever. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you're welcome, but thank you for both the actually Grimdark Magazines is John Morrow's, so
Yes.
His review. So that's always very appreciative, especially of the places that are willing to review indie authors. And I just saw recently that John joined your team on Before We Go blog, right?
Yeah. Well, he joined. Well, he's welcome to join my team if he wants to. But yeah, John, you're welcome to join the team if you'd like to. But he's on the SPIFO or SPFBO. Yes, with us. So I have people from all over the place. It's two separate entities.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I have two different chats and stuff, and I try to keep them separate because I don't ever want conflict of interest. Because I have people, and Before We Go, that would be a conflict because they have entries in, so I have everything very separate. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't. John and I actually work. So I'm the procurement editor for Grimdark magazine, which means that I go and I pitch authors and I put together a cohesive narrative in each magazine, or at least I try to. John works really close with me now. He does tons of interviews, reviews, Yeah, him and I have been teaming up on doing interviews. We just did a really, really cool type of interview where we have a book that was written by two people, and each of us took one of the people and interviewed them separately. Cool. Yeah, to get their own perspective on the process of writing with the other author. And I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I know a lot about one of the authors, and he knows a lot about the other author. So it actually worked out really well. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And we have stuff like that. Yeah. He's amazing.
Yes, John is one of my favorite people. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but it was like right after my cut from SPFBO that another person from your team, mm-hmm. Luke Winch, wrote, and he did a really good job. And right after that, I was thrilled with that review, by the way. And right after that, John actually reached out to me because he saw that post. And
that's what it's about.
Yes, that was great. And so I'm always, grateful to both of you, of course. And I forgot where I was going with that because John just distracted me. But I just really appreciate everyone that does support indie authors, because before I was in the community, and actually I think I got really lucky because I was a Facebook only person. And so I was on the SPFBO Facebook group. No, John, you're fine. It wasn't even a big deal. I was on the Facebook group, and I was, I think it's fair to say most people in SPFBO are going to stalk all the judges. So I found my group. I went, saw the list of judges, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Almost every single judge was like, their social media was Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why? Twitter sucks.
Yeah.
And so I had already made a Twitter, but I had never been using it. It just sat there because someone else had told me, if you want to be an author, you need a Twitter. And I didn't believe them, but I did it anyway. And then I saw that was happening. So I went on Twitter and I followed all of you guys. And surprisingly, all of you pretty much followed me back. And then when that happened, it was almost like I got like absorbed into the community. And so I was already talking to like all these reviewers and bloggers and other indie authors. And then just, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's crazy how interactive everyone is in the community. And I wasn't expecting that because coming from Facebook, it's not, you go into a group maybe and there's posts if you see them.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, it's a lot more like, I don't know how to explain it. Harmonious, not in terms of like people being nice, because there's a lot of crazy stuff, but I just mean like when you're in a community, I just feel like you just see that community stuff really. Like I don't really see stuff outside of indie author reading review kind of stuff too much, unless, something goes viral that everyone's talking about. And now maybe that's different for you because you follow a hell of a lot of people.
I do. I follow creatives. Like if you're gonna follow me, I'm gonna follow you back because I want to know about you. If you're a creative, if you're a writer, if you're an artist, I follow you back. I have a very interesting timeline.
Yes,
all sorts
sure.
of.
So have you been on Twitter I know you've been on Twitter for a long time, but were you on Twitter back when like you started Before We Go blog? That was what, 2008 you said?
No. So I started my Twitter account in 2007, and then I didn't touch Twitter again until 2019.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's when I started all of this again. I think it was November of 2018. So pretty much 2019. But yeah, I think that's when I started this whole, I haven't been at it that long, and I just opened, like it was just me for, up until 2022. It was just me. And then I'm like, well, it would be much better if I had a team, like I could have different viewpoints. I could have, people to chat with. And here, one of my favorite people.
Yes.
We are both going to Rollcon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Scotland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's great. I would love to start going to cons, but holy crap, I feel like that's out of my budget at the moment.
Yeah, it's like 16 months away. That helps.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think it sounds like such a fun time meeting everyone. I would love to meet like a bunch of people in the community. I get to meet John this summer, so that's really exciting. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's funny because he's from like the same area I live in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of interesting. There's not many people in this community that lives near me. So actually really nobody.
Where do you live? What area do you live?
I live in Avoca, New York. It's like upstate New York. I think it's about half an hour away from like the Pennsylvania border. Okay. It's an hour away from Rochester, New York.
I love Rochester. I do.
Beth, I thought I liked you.
I like them very specifically for chicken wings.
Oh, okay.
And the garbage plates.
Yeah, garbage plates are a big New York thing in general, which I think is absolutely repulsive, but I'm happy for you.
It's kind of like, I don't know, when you're in the city. You know, I'm in Las Vegas.
Yes, John. I didn't want to dox you. Yes, Hornell, New York. I've been there many times.
By the way, John, could you please link Adrian? Because he was wondering where we were chatting. And I don't want to switch over because I'm going to.
So you want me to send him a link to this?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get the link again and send it. You want me to send it to him on like Twitter?
Sure. And my Twitter has decided to kick me out of Twitter. So.
All right. Hold on. Oh, we're getting echo. Let me pause the video. I need the link though. Share. Copy. All right. I will shoot it to Adrian.
Okay.
Grimdark. For some reason, I made a mistake. There we go. I will shoot him a message right now.
Or John can tell him in Discord. So
there. Sent him the link.
So the funny thing, so I live in PST, right? And it seems like I learn about everything way after it's happened.
Oh yeah.
I am so far over.
Yes. I hear that for sure.
Adrian is like 27 hours ahead of me or something.
Yeah, because he's Australian, right?
He's in Sydney. Yeah. So he's like 30 hours ahead, 30 hours ahead of me. So he's like a day and a half ahead of me. And it just blows I'm trying to schedule with him.
It's funny because Australia is, like you said, so far ahead, but on the sales of books on KDP for Amazon, usually it updates at like 2 a.m. with like the kind of like sales from international. I feel like kind of updates a bit, and but the other day, I don't know if it's a glitch or if they just updated at a weird time or something, but it was like, I don't know, this time, 7 p.m. or whatever. And I went to KDP and it said I had a sale tomorrow. I was like, oh, this is from Australia, of course. But it really threw me off because it's like never done that before. I've sold plenty in Australia. I've never seen that like a day ahead. It's so wild.
Strange. It's strange. Yeah.
And also to John, who said he was surprised to find someone in Avoca. To be fair, I understand that because this is a very interesting town. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I living in Las Vegas, I have, I'm 6 hours from Salt Lake City, and there's a couple of people in Salt Lake City. Sarah, who's the editor, she's for Grimdark magazine. She's in Salt Lake City, and so she's just a day drive, and then I can get to the beach, and there's a bunch of authors in California too. I'm in a nice little spot. Although I moved here, I moved here from Portland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I moved here from Portland. I'm from here, but I moved back to help take care of my folks, my family.
Yes, back. And Sarah's great too.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
She is a really great person, and
so talented.
A great editor. Yeah, she's really nice. I talk to her pretty regularly. She's nice. I changed editors to her from my first to second book, which was great. I'm not saying it's not great. It was just weird to like work with one person, then transition to another. But fantastic. She's a great person. Did great work. I think she really helped me a lot, and I'm very thankful to her. And she's just like such a nice person too. And I wish she would promote herself more when it comes to her writing, because she deserves more,
everything.
but she doesn't like to do that, and I keep harping on her for it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Wait till her next book comes out.
Yeah.
I've read, some of the snippets that she's sent to me. It's just beautiful. She's so lyrical. It's like just beautiful. It's poetry, but it's not. Doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, it's just beautiful. It's not trying to be poetic. It just is.
Right. Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I know I'm terrible at that type of like writing. It's outside of my realm of comprehension, I guess. But yeah, me here, Sarah Chorn, Felix Ortiz, Sean King, 3 best secrets of self-published fantasy. It's funny how often people use all 3 of them. I tried. Huh?
I said we use all 3 of them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's almost, you can almost tell exactly who uses them like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Felix has very a certain style of art, and Sean's like, you can just tell the lettering and the format. You're like, oh, that's Sean. And I did try and get Sean, but man, he is a busy guy. So
beautiful typography.
Yes.
I think typography makes a book cover. It's so important. It's
right,
conveying the title, and it's so important. It's like icing on a cake.
I agree. Thank you, John. And yes, more praise to Sarah, because she is a really good editor. She's fantastic at everything she does. And literally the nicest person in the world.
It's funny, Sarah and I were just literally just talking right before I came on here. We were laughing because we are scarily similar in terms of just our history, our age, our family. I'm a master gardener. She's super heavy.
She likes to garden too.
Yeah, she's super heavy into gardening. And we talk plants. She sent me pictures of a seedling. I told her what kind of plant it was, that was growing in her yard. It was just, we work really well together. It's really fun.
That's awesome. I know absolute shit about gardening.
It's like books for me, books and gardening, and then perfume. I like perfume. I have a lot of perfume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a lot. I have quite the perfume collection.
Interesting.
My husband was telling me, he's like, okay, you could do a book YouTube or a perfume YouTube. You got to do one of them.
I wonder how, because with books, there's a lot of variety that you can talk about. I'm trying to think, like, how would a perfume channel go? Like, how would that?
It would be like, okay, here are 10 perfumes, 10 niche perfumes that you might not have heard of, 10 perfumes that have amber notes, 10 perfumes that have tropical note. Here are 5 perfumes that just came out. Here are 5 perfumes that, are overrated.
Oh,
these are 5.
I want to see that post.
These are 5 perfumes that are coming off the market. Buy them up before they're gone forever. That kind of stuff. Yeah, so I eat that stuff up.
Where do you get this information? Like, is there a perfume website that says like, listen, this is going out? Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And there's a bunch of YouTubers that I follow. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, it's actually kind of funny because I'm partially anosmic. I had surgery on my sinuses in my early 20s, and I lost part of my sense of smell. But it's kind of like I want to smell things, so I get excited when I can smell something. And so I get, I go after all of these exotic perfumes because, I can smell little bits of things. I just bought one from Thailand. I bought 2 from Italy, and I just had them shipped over. All
right. So note to everyone out there, send Beth perfume with
Or
your
books.
review copies.
Or books.
So I guess that's how people can bribe you now. Listen,
Perfume.
I have a case of a variety of perfume. Do you want it? And then you're like, yeah,
Like,
okay.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like,
okay.
I'll just slip my book on top of that.
Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 bookcases, and
You.
I do. I have 4 downstairs, and then I have behind me is all my special editions and stuff.
Yes, I can see that. That's pretty great.
Yeah, and I collect books like I collect perfume. I don't know. It's how I dealt with the pandemic.
It's surprising how many people seem to have followed the same trajectory. I did not read a ton more than I did regularly, I don't think, but I did start writing, and I am not alone. I found there was a lot of people that wrote during the pandemic, surprisingly enough. So question about your bookshelves. You said you have 8.
I have 8. Yeah.
They are all full?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that next question.
Okay.
Do you have books off the bookcase?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah.
So you need more bookcases, or do you need to get rid of books?
Do I have what? Say
I
that
said,
again.
do you need more bookcases, or do you need to get rid of books?
I don't get rid of books. Are you?
Okay. Well, some people do a lot of these on hauls, and and some people don't. So
No. I should, but
okay.
I don't. I should, but I don't. So okay. Let's see. Okay. I have a thing. Me here does too. I have a thing for spines.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, those are so cool. I love that.
Yeah, and I have.
Are those broken binding?
Yeah, it's broken binding. So I actually have subscriptions to multiple places like broken binding. So
Right.
I get all sorts of. I just love it. I just love.
It looks so cool though. The sprayed edges are so cool.
I'm actually going to do a contest when we hit 500,000 hits on Before We Go.
Oh, okay.
Which is hopefully pretty soon in the next couple months. I'm going to give away this.
Oh wow, that's really cool. What books are those?
This is the Arcady Martin books.
Oh, okay.
This is no.
Me here, you don't have room. We just talked about this not that long ago, dude. Your wife will not allow this. You are confined to your bookshelves. That was my next question to you, Beth. What does your husband think about all the books?
Mark, what do you think about all the books?
It is true that you don't get rid of
It's true.
That was great.
I don't know, but they're so cool. Why would I get rid of them?
Yeah, I agree. Don't get rid of them.
I have I need to get one of your books. Actually, get your books. But I have getting a dedicated indie shelf right here.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want them, I will send them to you.
And of course, I think Dirk. One day I'm gonna just annoy the shit out of Dirk. But I'm like a Turnus fangirl. I basically run his fan club.
Yeah. I've seen you post about this before.
I love his books. So
he's also like a great dude.
He's what?
I said he's also like a really great dude.
Yeah, yes.
He's a nice person. And me here is still trying to convince you.
I would love to see a picture of Mahir's shelves.
Yeah. Mihir is going to he should send us pictures for sure, but I do know that he was just talking about having to make decisions with books, and
It's a killer.
you know, I
I
guess
have
there comes a point.
I have an entire rolling cart of arcs to go through.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah. So I'm over there like they're looking
That's
at
really
me
cool.
in tone.
You read like crazy though. Like you have a lot of you go through books.
I you know what? I don't as much as I used to. So right
That's still
now,
a lot more than I think a lot of people go through.
yeah, you see, right? Okay, so right now I have chronic migraines, and I'm
That's
feeling pretty open about talking about this. I have something called intracranial hypertension, uh, and it causes me to have chronic migraines. So I can't read as much as I would like because I have headaches.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
But I listen to audiobooks constantly. Yeah.
So that doesn't bother you?
No, I'm actually working on my speed for audiobooks. Yeah. David from FanFi is, I think he listens to audiobooks at 2.5.
My sister does the same thing. I don't know the speed, but it literally sounds like hello, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
I'm at 1.7, which 1.7 is pretty good. I'm inching my way up, but yeah. So I have a whole thing of audiobooks, but that's the thing, that like you don't get an audiobook usually as an arc.
That's true.
I have a couple of them, but
I don't think
I try to read them.
Yeah, the production takes so long for those, from what I hear, and it's expensive.
I have speech to text too that I use a lot, which is very helpful.
Oh yeah, when
I'm having migraines?
Does that get old? Because like the voice for speech to text is kind of sometimes annoying.
It's gotten a lot better. You know, they've really tried to. There's a lot of people who use speech to text for various reasons,
right?
And it's gotten to be a lot better. Funnily enough, I can understand speech to text really well with an accent, but I can't do it if it's spoken in American English.
That's so funny you said that, because when I finished writing Buzzard's Bowl, my second book, I had been watching. I think it was from Wizards, Warriors, and Words. I think. But anyway, Michael Fletcher said something about like text to speech on Word, and how like re-listening to the book, like you catch so much. And so I did that with my second book, and I did the same thing that you're just saying, like the American English. I was like, shut up, you're so fucking annoying.
But I do British quite a lot.
Yes, that's what I went.
Yeah, and it works just fine. I don't know what it is. There's some sort of linguist thing going on, but yeah, makes it sound a lot more real.
Yes, yeah, it was so annoying. I was like, what is this? But the British one was good. I was like, okay, I don't want to die.
I do that with reviews. You know, I listen to reviews often after I'm done writing them.
Oh, so you listen to your own reviews, is what you're saying? Okay.
Because it helps you catch things that don't sound,
for sure.
Like they don't sound right. You know, not exactly what I'm trying to get out. It sounds better in my head than it does in the paper. It's quaint on the ears.
So yeah, I don't listen to audiobooks, but it is very helpful for like catching errors that I've made. So I do get that. But with audiobooks, I just have this thing where like whenever I'm listening to anything, I just like tune out. My brain is like thinking about 500 different things, and like I just don't focus. And then I'll realize about 20 minutes later, maybe, that like I just didn't listen to anything I was listening to.
So there's this game called Slay the Spire. Have you ever heard of? Do you play games at all?
I do, and I have played Slay the Spire.
Okay, so I play Slay the Spire every day, and
Every day?
every day. I have got 6,000 hours in Slay the Spire, something like that, altogether, 5,000 hours. Because what I do is I will be listening to an audiobook, and I'll put up Slay the Spire, and it's just something for my hands to do. It's like a ritual I do before I go to bed. You know, because I'm 20, 20, 20, 20 across the characters, you know, and I just, it's good. It's very replayable. And so I just,
yeah. Once you learn how to play it, it's very mindless.
Yeah. You know, and they have the expansion that just came out. So I've been working on the expansion. Yeah, and I listen to audiobooks and I play Slay the Spire. It's my my nighttime ritual. I haven't found any other game that quite hits like Slay the Spire does for me. I've tried. I've tried to switch it up. It's just I haven't found anything that quite hits.
So you seem like you have a similar ritual to me, because I will read, and when I'm like reading a book, it's not that I'm bored because I like reading, but I will feel like a lot of the time like I could be doing something else. So I will be playing like I don't know if you've heard of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, man, I used to play Hearthstone like mad.
I still play it because I can just mindlessly play it, and the turns are kind of long in that game. So when you're waiting, I just knock out a page. And,
I should go. I should start playing Hearthstone again. Shit.
And it's easy because like right now I'm at my computer, so I could put my book right down here, and then I'll play while I'm reading it. But then Hearthstone's also on my phone, so when I go to bed, I can just lay down. I put my book on the bed, and then I use the phone as like a weight on my pillow, and I just move the phone as I'm reading and playing on the phone too.
Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot like me. Right. I've got my computer all curled. I'm curled around my computer.
Yeah.
Slay the Spire.
So that's funny. I feel you. We're on the same page.
Yeah, right. We're right here.
I like to just play a mindless game while also, because I don't want to just play Hearthstone. It's really boring, I feel like. But once you know what you're doing, you're just like, take your turn in 10 seconds, and then you're like, dude, why does this hold up? Because people take forever. So that, you can just read, and it's just so much better.
I stopped playing because people were jerks for a while.
On Hearthstone?
Yeah, I just couldn't. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they were just, when I was playing, they do the reactions, like,
oh my God, yes. Okay, I know what you're
so
talking about. So annoying. Yeah.
It's so annoying. And I'm just
I mean, you can turn it off, but it's still annoying.
The packs are expensive. And then
Yeah. If you want to stay competitive and like on day one of new updates or whatever,
you got to buy a bunch of packs.
Yeah. Well, yes, they are expensive. It's like $80 for like the first day pack or whatever, and that's like annoying because who wants to keep throwing money into that? And then they rotate, so all that stuff that you just bought is now like not useful. So I try not to spend a ton of money in that game. They now have, what a battle pass is? Yeah, they now have one of those that's actually, you can get, there's a free track that gives you quite a bit of free coin. And by the time you play like a season and the next expansion comes out, you kind of have enough money where you can buy like a bunch of packs with the coins if you save them. And so that's how I kind of not spend money, because I really don't like throwing money into games like that, especially when in a year or two, that money is now useless because the set has rotated out. You know what I mean? Like that's I hate that. The games
just,
lately.
It just poof, gone.
Yeah, I forgot to put this up earlier, but
here's got a question too. Who are some
I
of my
missed
favorite
that. Yep.
narrators? Actually, here we go again. Cannot remember. Coffee, Legends and Lattes.
Travis Baldry.
Baldry. Yeah, I like Travis Baldry. And I love the narrator for Jim Butcher.
I don't know who that is off the top of my head.
You don't know who Jim Butcher is?
No. I know who Jim Butcher is. I don't know who narrated it.
Oh, it's Spike.
I've never read
from
Jim
Buffy.
Butcher,
It's Spike. It's James Marsden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does Dresden very well.
Yeah, I've never actually read Jim Butcher though, so it probably still just as offensive.
So the thing with Jim Butcher is one of my favorite authors. I'll just put that out there. The first book of
Dresden.
See if Nahira agrees with me. The first book of Dresden Files is not very good. It's just not.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
It's serviceable, and it's sad because it's the entry into the series.
Right.
But once you get past the first book, they're good. They get better and better and better. It's like he kind of sits into the character really well. And he wrote, as far as I understand the lore, he wrote Dresden so that he could write the fantasy series that he wanted to write. And it's actually the fantasy series that he has written is, the first two are just average. Yeah. His fantasy series, what's it called? We were just talking about Alara. Third book is from when the Sheriff was cool. So he's got this Cinder Spires books that he's writing, and then he's got his fantasy.
Oh, here we go.
And
Codex Alara.
Thank you. His Codex Alara books are incredible, and they don't get nearly the props that they should. Way better than Dresden Files. Like Dresden is great, but his Codex Alara books shine.
Yeah, Codex Alara is a fantasy series, you said, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it like urban fantasy? Because Dresden is urban fantasy, right?
Dresden's urban fantasy. Codex Alara is fantasy.
Oh, okay. So I might actually like Codex Alara. I haven't read Dresden because like urban fantasy in general is I know this might hurt you. Not my thing.
That's okay. Not everything has to be everybody's thing.
I have this really hard disconnect with urban fantasy. I'm like reading, and then they're talking about like, well, Dresden, I think is Chicago, and I'm just like, wait, what? I'm like, I just don't like. It's just a me thing. I just don't like Earth being like Earth in like our modern setting. I guess it irks me. But I mean, even like, I think Mark Lawrence uses, or at least sort of used real world stuff, but like not in a way that bothered me, if that makes sense. I think you know why. I don't want to say too much.
Are you talking about his one about the kids in the 1980s?
No, I was talking about what's it called? A Broken Empire? Is that what it's called? I don't remember. But so if it's like Earth in the way past or way future, or hinting at like, they're actually really on Earth in a different time, then I am okay with that. But when they're like, now we're going down to downtown LA, and you're just like, what? Like, I don't know what it is. There's just like this disconnect that I can't get over. Except the only time was like Harry Potter, but like for that, it was like the real world existed, but it felt like it was like
separate
around. Yeah, separate.
Yeah,
like separate. I think someone described it as almost like Portal. Yes,
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. It's portal
Yeah,
fantasy.
portal fantasy.
Um, there is, I know what you're saying, but there is some urban fantasy that is so it like lays on top of Earth now, so much so that it makes it so it's difficult to recognize Earth now. Like
Right.
Sandman Slim series, the Sandman Slim series, Felix
Never
Castor.
heard of it, I don't think.
Yeah, they're really good, really dark. I'd say they're like grimdark urban fantasy,
Oh,
and
nice.
they sit.
I like that.
Yeah, they sit on top of our world, but there's demons, and it's not cutesy. There's no cutesy. It's not, there's no romance. It's like grim dark
Right.
urban fantasy. It's some of my favorite urban fantasy.
That's awesome. Yeah. So have
Mhm.
What's this? Daniel Faust by Craig Schaefer. I've never heard of this. Daniel Faust sounds familiar though. So maybe someone has mentioned, maybe Meher's talked about this before.
Or the Star Panther.
He might have mentioned it when we were talking live. I feel like maybe, but I don't remember. See, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And then, but going back to this real quick, that's not grimdark though, right? That's
it's dark fantasy.
Dark
grimdark is
different for each person, I think.
Well, no. So grimdark is just morally gray characters. Like you actually got into this discussion online not too long ago, a couple days ago. So for me, you have tropes where you have like the hero's journey.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know who the bad guys are, and you know who the good guys are, and you know that in the end of the story, the good guys are going to win, the bad guys are not going to win. It's a hero's journey, right?
Right. Yep.
And there's lots of tropes that are like that. Grimdark is I guess tropeless. Like it's just characters having autonomy.
Morally great characters.
Yeah, it's characters having autonomy. You don't actually know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, and vice versa. And it could be completely black, but this character trudges on.
Yes.
That's and that can sit on all sorts of genres. That idea can sit on all sorts of genres.
Correct. Yeah. I have not read this, so I wouldn't know. But have you read
Terry Brooks Running with the Demons? No, I haven't. I actually haven't read a lot of Terry Brooks. I tried to read Shannara, and I just
yeah, I've never tried Terry Brooks, but from what I know, at least from the Shannara series, I don't think it would be for me.
It's huge. So I mean, people love it. It's huge. People love it. It's just I have never been able to really get into it.
I never tried, but it sounded like it was very classic tropey type, epic, classic.
I feel like I gotta turn in my fantasy card.
If you have to turn in your fantasy card, I will turn mine in right now because I'm about to blow your mind. Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, Malazan.
Not read any of them. Have you?
We're throwing Chronicles of Narnia as well. I've tried them all. I hate them all.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
I wanted to like Malazan. I just realized when I finished it, I didn't understand anything that happened. It was a me problem, I think.
That's actually a common, from what I've never read Malazan. So from what I understand, that's a common problem with those books. So I never I've
And
never
this is-
tried.
This is exactly why Shannara would not appeal to me, because I don't like,
Really nice.
Lord of the Rings, the classic, it was original for its time,
Mhm.
but
It's
like now
very
it's
different.
it's
Yeah.
just nowadays like very rehashed by so many people that like what the story is. And
I actually have a Lord of the Rings tattoo.
but you haven't read them?
Oh, I've read Lord of the Rings. No.
You've read Lord of the Rings.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I've read all of them except Malazan. I haven't read them.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it.
Whatever.
Malazan.
I think it's Malazan or something.
Malazan. Yeah, I haven't read that.
Right.
But yeah, I have a Lord of the Rings tattoo. I have a quote from the book on my,
Nice.
on my back. Yeah.
I'm confused. Mihir, do you mean that the show enhanced the books, or that they? Sorry, I misread this. Basically, made the books look incredible. So the show was just really bad then, huh? I'm guessing that's.
The show was terrible. It was like 1980s fantasy kind of terrible.
Okay.
It was pretty bad.
Right. Mihir, I am a very either I love something or I hate it type person.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't do the middle ground thing usually. Like, typically, not for me. Apparently, I have friends here. I gave up on Malazan after attempting to read it 3 times. Couldn't get more than 50 pages in it. It was so confusing. Plus, setting it down for months between chapters didn't help. And Mihir says, "Hi, Beth. We really, I think, need more folks not reading Malazan." That's I've seen Steven Erikson on like interviews and stuff, and he seems like such a nice, cool person.
Mm-hmm.
My all or nothing. I can't help it. I'm a very opinionated person, and I will like or hate something pretty one way or the other. I don't do middle ground too much. But Steven Erikson, great dude. I can tell he can write. Like technically, he's very talented at what he does. But I committed a cardinal sin, guys, and I will admit it right now. I bought a book. I started reading it, and then I threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
And then I was on Fantasy Faction, I think, on Facebook, and people there are always raving about the series. It's a meme. Everyone knows the joke is that whenever you ask for recommendations, you're going to get Malazan. for any genre. But I kept seeing it. I was like, okay, there has to be something about this, something magical about this. I'm going to force myself through the first entire book.
I think it's a rite of passage. I think it's supposed to be a rite of passage or something. Like a hazing ritual.
And everyone's like, it gets better. Trust me. And I'm like, I just don't see how.
Well, P.L. Stewart, who's just, you'd probably like his books a lot. P.L. Stewart is
Atalanteans, right? Or
something. The Atalanteans. He is actually going through Malazan, whatever. Right now, very, very slowly. He reads fast. But I've
noticed that too.
Yeah, he reads really fast. John reads really fast.
Oh my God, John has a review posted like every other day. I'm like,
John
what are you
is
doing?
Like a machine. I don't know how he does it.
He's reading an early copy of Buzzard's Bowl right now, and he was messaging me or tagging me on Twitter, one or the other, depending on. I'm just like, how are you there already? Because meanwhile, in between all of this updates that I'm getting from the book he's reading, I'm seeing reviews going live on Goodreads for different things that he's finishing. I'm just like
he's incredible.
What are you doing?
I wish I could read that fast. I can't read that fast because when I read, I talk in my head.
So I do the same thing.
Yeah. So there's different kinds of readers. Ones that talk in their head, I forgot there's a term for it. Ones that talk in their head can't read as fast as ones who don't.
Right. Okay.
Because they have a narrator who's speaking in your head. So they can only read so fast. If you can figure out how to not do that, you can read faster. But
I'll get to like a big important like line that like really hits me, and I'll like stop reading and like read it again in a voice in my head.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
I
have characters. I'm like building the city, and in my head, it's just the way it is.
I don't visualize anything. That's weird, but like I do get that voice, and then I'll just like stop and I'll be like, now I've caught you. And I'm just like, yeah. And I like read that in my head, like very impactfully, I guess. And I'll just take a moment to like salivate, I guess, like how awesome this line was or moment was. And I'll sit there smiling because I'm just like, yeah, I love this. Usually it's something terrible happening to someone that like gets me there, because I really love when something absolutely brutally terrible happens to a character that like I wasn't expecting and didn't see coming, and something that like punched me in the stomach, like just that moment of like, oh shit. And if an author can get me to do that, I will just love it.
I have a book for you. I have a book for you.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Let me 1 second. Let me open another tab. What is it?
I have two, actually. I have two books for you.
Okay.
The first one, Malevolent 7.
I've heard of this about a million times.
Yeah.
But I have not read it. Okay. And
you
then
want
you have
a book? It's the Silent God series by Justin T. Call.
Oh my God. That's actually really funny. I've had that book on like a mental TBR for a while, because I heard that book is like, or that series rather, is really like good and like from the evil point of view.
Yeah.
And also Justin, I don't talk to him, but I've interacted with him with a few times, and I've seen him on a few podcasts or whatever. And he just seemed like a cool dude that I liked. And so I've been, that one specifically, I've been like, I need to read this sometime.
It's, yeah. So like the first book is it's more normal fantasy, right? Like, you've got your elder and the young guy who's just learning about his skills, and and it develops really, really great. The second one just like, nah, we can just throw all goodness out the window. And just Eleni from my site said it's like riding down a hill on a bicycle that's on fire. That's the
That's funny.
It's such a perfect description, and it's really great.
The third one isn't out yet, is it?
Huh?
I don't think, did the third one, that's not out yet, right? Okay.
No, that's Master of the Fallen's not out. Let me see when it's coming out.
I think I remember seeing Justin tweet something about how that got delayed or something because of personal life stuff or something.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has a release date.
I don't see a release date. That's okay.
I don't know what's going on with that.
April. This says April 11th, 2024. So no.
So a big delay.
A year. Yeah, it got pushed back a year because I thought it was released this year.
I think originally it was supposed to be, but I know he apparently has been going through a bunch of stuff, I guess. But
yeah.
Shit happens. Life sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's just more time for more people to read the first two books.
That's fair.
They're just, it's chef's kiss. The Malevolent 7 is like, all right, get the 7 worst evil people, like bad guys from fantasy together, and have them do like a quest together, and they're just, and there's no redeeming quality with them. They're just straight up evil.
That's great.
It's just there are some scenes in that book where like mouth dropping scenes.
That's
And it's so
standalone, right?
amazing. Huh? Yeah, it's a standalone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
I would do just about anything to get him to write a short story to go along with that for the magazine. I would love that so much. Can't even tell you. But
So Woody, I mean, could you?
I think I've mentioned it to him, but I don't think he's interested.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if he
That's too
sees
bad.
this, I would love to have him in the magazine for a short story for that book. Because like maybe a prequel short story or something.
You're like anything.
Yeah. Come on.
That's great. So question, you brought it up. I just have a question about that. You approach authors that you want to put into a anthology with a similar theme. So do you come up with a theme and then ask like authors specifically, like, can you write this story? Or something with this theme?
No, because I don't like to stagnate people's creativity. Like I say, okay, that the issue that I'm doing right now is horror. Like, okay. So I want stories that are grimdark and horror, you know. Right. And I pitched authors that I thought could do that write brilliantly. And I asked them if they could do that, and then they write a story. And I either buy it or I don't buy it or whatever, and we move on from there. And then Sarah does the editing and stuff, and I try to shape the idea together. And then, depending upon all those stories, I pick one, and then I work the cover. The idea for the cover comes together. We have a great cover designer, and I try to shape, the interviews. I try to build a cohesive idea of what horror and grimdark mean together. But I don't try to, I don't like prescribe, write me a story about a vampire. Right. It's nothing like that. I mean, I could, if I was writing a vampire, or if I was editing a vampire anthology, it'd be something like that.
Right.
Not for GDM.
More like overall theme then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you guys recently had a physical copy of Grimdark magazine made, right?
Yeah, we had a Kickstarter. The King Must Fall.
But that's not normal for the anthologies, right?
Okay, so GDM is getting pretty big.
Yes.
Like we're growing as a team. We've got a lot of reviewers, and we're doing a lot of really cool stuff. It's getting better and better. Adrian is amazing at Kickstarters, and he's amazing at everything he does, but he really enjoys Kickstarters and that publishing type side. And I really enjoy the magazine stuff. So I took over the quarterly issues of the magazine, and I have a magazine team, and then he focuses on all the cool publishing stuff, as well as running the site. It is his site. He is the head editor for it.
Right.
Yeah. And then and Sarah and I work in concert for and John also. And hopefully a few other people for the next couple magazines.
Yeah, no, that's really cool that you guys all like have your own parts and are able to work together so well.
Yeah, and then there's Carrie and James do a lot of the website stuff.
Okay.
And Fabian she pitches to get ARCs and talks to a lot of publishers and stuff for working with the team. We've got a really good system, but we keep growing.
Yeah.
We're growing even more. We're thinking about bringing in somebody who does a lot of television reviewing and game reviewing and stuff, and it's just, yeah, I think, you know, we're getting pretty close to 100,000 hits a month. So
On
100,000,
Grimdark?
yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. There's this. I think for me it was more the name maybe than anything. But like when I first heard of Grimdark magazine and I saw who was being like reviewed on it and everything, I was like, that is my goal. And
And you were on it.
I know it was my first outside of Before We Go blog when I got cut. It was like the first review site that actually reviewed my book. I was like, how did I hit that? So I just a string of luck. I was like, yes. And then you know, they did the cover reveal for my next book, and that was really cool.
John, you're welcome on Before We Go if you want to come in as a guest and, you know, review or write editorials, that. You know, absolutely.
I was going to mention this earlier and I forgot because we got sidetracked, but on Before We Go blog, I was about to talk about the author. I forgot what the series is called, so forgive me, but the books that made me.
Oh, the books that made me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody, I feel like everybody has a book. Every reader has a book that helped shape them as a person. Like a foundational book.
Joe Abercrombie.
Yeah, we'll see. There you go. Joe Abercrombie. And everybody's got a book. And I want them to talk about that book and why that book is so personal to them. I want to hear their stories. And I loved it. I got so many incredible stories. I would love people keep sending them to me. Like I will post them. I have one actually. Mine is this one.
Awesome.
This is Galapagos by Kurt Vonnegut.
That's great. I've only read one Kurt Vonnegut book, I think, and it was for college, and I don't even know if it finished it. But I think it was Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse Five? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't read it though. I don't think I tried to, and I have this weird blockage where if I have to read something, I hate it. So that probably was part of the problem.
Well, I've read a lot of different types of things, and I've read a lot of classic science fiction and fantasy, and that one was very foundational for me. I don't know why. You know, there's a lot of really great books. I love Fahrenheit 451. That's huge for me.
Again, I've never read that one either.
That's huge for me. It has the best opening line of any book I've ever read. It was a pleasure to burn. Like it's just the best opening line ever. But I don't know, like that book just so there's a group of people. It's kind of like Gilligan's Island, sort of. There's a group of people who are out on a boat tour and they end up on an island. And while they're on the island, nuclear apocalypse happens. And the whole rest of the world is decimated. And that's pretty much just humanity on this island. And it's what happens to them, you know. It's I don't know. It's very creative.
Yeah, it's it's really great when you have like a book, when you can identify the book that like really got to you. You know, I think Lord of the Rings is that for a lot of people.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings too.
Not for me, but I do recognize that it did a lot for a lot of people. Yeah. For me, it was just, I don't like to talk bad, so I'm not trying to like name names, I guess. But when I was younger, there was a fantasy series, and you know what? This guy's made so much money, I don't think it matters. Aragon. I read Aragon as a kid. Did not like Aragon, but everyone said that the next book was like so much better. Yeah. So I got Eldest, and I do agree it was a lot better, but the ending I had like predicted in my head the whole time. And when like literally everything step by step happened that I like was thinking, and I was like 17 or 18, maybe even younger. When that happened, I was laughing so hard because I was like predicting it all. Not that it was bad. I wasn't laughing that it was bad. It was just I knew what was happening. And I had decided I was done. I was like, I'm done with fantasy. I'm not reading it anymore. And I closed the book and I didn't finish that series. I still haven't. I didn't read fantasy for maybe a year or two. Like I just stopped. I think I just stopped reading fantasy altogether. I might have stopped reading in general because I just really mostly read fantasy. And so I was so out. And then I'm in college rooming with my friend and he's like, you need to read The Blade itself. And I was like, no. And he was like, read it. And I read the first chapter. I think I wrote this. I threw it across the room because I hated it so much. I was like, why did you give me this trash? This is terrible. And he was like, read the second chapter. Trust me. And then I did, and I loved it. But I will still always maintain that even though Joe Abercrombie is my favorite author, Logan Ninefingers is one of my least favorite characters of like any fantasy ever. I can't stand him.
But that's okay.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's totally
we're all
okay.
going to like, I got into a fight with me here on air. Not a real fight.
Yeah,
but when we talked, I need to know your opinion because I got a lot of flack from me here.
Okay.
Joffrey Baratheon is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Okay.
Very offensive to me here.
Yeah.
He doesn't like him.
So you want to hear? You want to hear something?
What?
I've never read.
Oh my God! You've never even read Game of Thrones?
I've read the first book. I've never read
okay.
it. Yeah,
and
I didn't watch the show either. I didn't watch the show either.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
So I don't know what it is about the book. I tried. it did not connect with me. I don't know what it is about the books. I probably should give them another try. I feel like I should turn in my Grimdark card.
I was just going to say, I think that I don't know how long it's been, so you might want to reread the first one, but I'm just saying that, like, I've heard from a lot of people. I didn't feel like this when I read it, but I read Game of Thrones a very long time ago at this point. But I remember thinking that it was great the whole time. But I've heard from a lot of people that say, like, the first book is okay.
That might be what it is.
The ending is where, like, everything starts and gets, like, dark. And then books 2 and 3 are, like, insane. And then there's a dip in the books, but because book 4 kind of takes out a lot of POVs of, like, people that you, like, really want to read about and kind of inserts all these new POVs of people that you don't care about. So book 4 is a bit of a, like, why? And then you get back on track with book 5.
It sounds like Robert Jordan.
Oh, okay. I DNF'd Wheel of Time in the first 100 pages of book 2, I think.
Okay.
I tried, but I just couldn't.
Yeah. So the first 5 books are really good. The next 5 books are not. And then there's 2 good books, and then I didn't finish the series because it had been so long that I would have to go back, and it's like 100,000 pages or something I would have to read, or something crazy to catch back up. And I just had no desire to.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I just jump back in.
My thing was like, sorry.
I was gonna say, I know Sanderson's amazing, so
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so I'm sure the last 2 books were really good. I just couldn't do it.
Probably. My thing was I read the first one, and I thought it was really slow and very classic, typical epic fantasy that was pretty boring and predictable for me. Mm-hmm. And I got to book 2, and I felt like it was still very slow. And I kept seeing online, like, I think this was on, again, Fantasy Fiction in the Facebook group. I think I had posted there maybe and said, like, man, this is really slow. Does it get better? And everyone's like, that was slow? You haven't even gotten to the slog yet. And I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. Like 6, 7, 8, 9. 10's not bad, but 6, 7, 8, 9 are.
That's
Part-
crazy to have that many books that are just like.
It's like 50,000 pages. No, not 10,000 pages each. It's 5,000 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 5,000 pages.
Yeah, and it's just like, if I have to struggle, like through that many books, I'm good. Especially if I'm already not really liking it.
Mhm.
So apparently, I think that's actually kind of a overall sentiment of the series, is that when Sanderson took over, it got better.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
But
It's
to be
like a
fair,
refresh.
I would guess that if Robert Jordan had written them, they would have gotten better anyway. It's the end of the series.
Mhm.
But you never know, right? Who
No.
knows? I don't know.
Do you like Stephen King?
I haven't. Okay, so I read one book by Stephen King, and it was
Which
The
one?
Stand. And
Oh,
I hate that book. I wanted to like that book. It was the. I'm
did
so
you
curious.
read the unabridged version? Did you read the unabridged
I
version?
read the complete thing. So I think someone said it was like 500 extra pages that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it was 1,400 pages.
So I read that. I love the premise of
Mhm.
The Stand. I just like a post-apocalyptic story, but fucking hell. The ending was so bad. And also, I did not like the first, I don't know, spoilers for The Stand, if anyone has not read it.
Everybody knows what The Stand is by this time.
But like there's like magic that appears like 3/4 of the way into it, and I was just like so taken out of that. For one, I was just like, wait, when has there been magic? Why is there magic? There doesn't need to be magic in the story. It just felt like out of place for me.
Mhm.
And then I don't remember this book like at all, but I remember absolutely hating the ending of it.
So I said one of my challenges that I set for myself is to read everything Stephen King has written. I wanted to read his entire catalog.
How is that going?
It's going pretty good. I've read about, I don't know, 40 of his books out of, I think he's got 90 books or something altogether.
He writes like crazy.
Yeah. I haven't read a lot of his new stuff. I've been too busy with, fantasy.
Right.
I haven't read his new stuff. I actually have a king bow behind me. That's the king bow. Have you ever heard of the king bow?
I didn't know that was Stephen King, I guess, but I do remember seeing you on a podcast talking about that.
Yeah, my king bow.
And it's really cool. I think it's
I'm
really
very proud of my king bow.
I think it's really cool to do that. That's really sweet that they,
Yeah.
Is that all from like
2006? Yeah, it's one publisher. In 2006 and 2007 did this, and
that's
the
really cool.
Books go like hotcakes if you can find them. I've got all of them except 3 that are so stupid expensive that I just can't. They're paperbacks and they're $300-$400 a piece. I just can't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just can't.
So Dark Tower, I've heard, because I'm really
Dark Tower is good.
I'm like really only a fantasy reader, so that's another reason why I don't really read much Stephen King. But I've heard so many like really, I don't want to say like bad, but I feel like a lot of people really have problems with the Dark Tower series. What's your take on the Dark Tower series?
I like the Dark Tower series, but I can understand why people would have a difficult time with it. I totally get it. Yeah. I don't think that the first book of the Dark Tower series is easy to get through at all. It's great writing, the premise, but yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's not and then the Dark Tower is not my favorite Stephen King.
What is, by the way? And also, I'm not sure, but how, before you answer that, I guess, The Stand, how high would you rate The Stand compared to like a lot of Stephen King books?
I give The Stand a 7 out of 10. I read the 1,400 page version, and that was more of a challenge to myself than really.
Did you like it more than the regular?
No.
Okay, so do you think part of my problem was that I read that?
It's superfluous detail.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It
it's
was very
just
slow.
yeah, it's just superfluous detail. He's great at detail, but it's a lot of
Yeah,
of detail.
So maybe that was
Um,
the issue, is that I read that.
yeah. Actually, let's see. Well, I love Firestarter. Love Firestarter. I think it's totally
I don't think I've heard
underrated.
of that.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, Firestarter's it's completely underrated. It's one of his earlier books. I love The Shining, of course.
Yeah. Okay. I've never.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I haven't even seen that.
The Shining is I think his best writing. Yeah, I think The Shining probably is his best writing.
Seems to be like the consensus, I feel like, about a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Him and his son actually wrote the scariest short story I've ever written or read. Yeah,
Right.
by far. Yeah, that I've ever read.
I don't think I've ever been like scared from something I read. So
well, I say that as in,
yeah.
You know, I'm not like afraid. Like, oh, the book is gonna get me. No, but like it's the scariest setting. It's the scariest idea. It's the most unsettling short story I've ever. Just like hold my beer kind of stuff. And it's called In the Tall Grass. They made a movie out of it, or a short movie.
Meager is behind us because he's
Still
responding. I think you're talking about Joffrey. That's the only thing I can think of.
I saw the video of him getting poisoned.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so I love, like, I've seen little bits of the TV show, and I love the video, and let her and tell her it was me. You know, like, it's just it's so bad. I didn't even know what's going on, and that's so badass.
I'm amazed that you haven't like
I
don't like. It seems like it should be like you're
right
like,
up my alley.
Thing. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, but
especially after the first book. But
I think it just got so overhyped that I just didn't.
That's fair.
You know, I don't know. I haven't seen Stranger Things, all of Stranger Things either, which is totally right up my alley. Also,
no, it's not.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it is.
No, it's not. How far did you watch?
I was the first season.
Okay, so no, it's not.
I got the first season.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but season 1 I thought was like, it's okay. I actually really like season 2 a lot. I thought it was like really good. Season 3 also I thought was really good, but season 4 there was so much monologuing and like Deus Ex crap. I felt like that like it completely ruined so much of the show, in my opinion. Like it felt like the writers were too scared to actually finish off. Like, I think they were just too scared to kill people, for one. Like, it was just very obvious that they didn't know what to do. And now I think there's one more season left. But the way that they structured season 4 was like that a part 1 that was like 6 or 4 normal sized episodes. Mm-hmm. And then they had part 2. This is the dumbest thing ever. Part 2 was only 2 episodes, but they were like each an hour and a half. It was like a movie each almost. But that specific part of the show was so laughably bad. I was watching it with my brother and his girlfriend, and we were all looking at each other just laughing so hard because of how bad it was. And we all liked everything that came like in the first 3 seasons. So I don't know what happened. And this is a super hot take, by the way. Everyone disagrees with me. People love this season. And I'm like, how?
I'll probably at one point give it. I just don't have the I don't have the time to sit down and focus on a TV show, because it
takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of mental energy that I don't have right now, and I'd rather be reading or playing some Slay This Fire.
think Meteor is behind. Wheel of Time would have been a great 8-book series. That seems to be consensus, I think.
What is your show then? What is your movie? What is your show? The science fiction or fantasy movie or show that you really, really dig?
I think my favorite show of all time might be The Last Kingdom. I was a really big fan of that. I don't know why. It worked really well. Although they just released like the movie that came out after the season.
Mm.
That I really didn't like the movie. I thought it was pretty bad, but it just felt like rushed, which is obvious. You know, it's a movie. I think it should have just been a season. I think that was the biggest issue. So for me, I really liked The Last Kingdom. Game of Thrones was really good until it sucked. I don't. Trying to think. It's really hard to find good like fantasy or sci-fi shows. I feel like I wanted to like The Expanse, but I just couldn't. I know that's another hot take.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it just felt like every main character was like invincible, and I don't really like that. What about you? Do you have?
Okay, so my movie is The Matrix, the first Matrix. Because I saw the first Matrix when it came out when I was 19, 18. And it was perfection for me. It was everything that I loved. You know, science, I love science fiction. I am such a science fiction person. I know I read a lot of fantasy, but I love science fiction. And it was Kung Fu. I love Kung Fu. And I don't know. I saw it 7 times in the theater.
Wow,
Now,
that's crazy.
it doesn't, at the time, it doesn't exactly hold up now. Me now
Right.
versus me, God, 20 years ago. But at the time, it was incredible. The same thing is true for Battlestar Galactica. I love Battlestar Galactica.
The show.
The show. Until
is that the one that they say
season.
frack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I tried and I couldn't.
Up
I stopped
until the
watching
last
after the first
season.
episode.
The last season was bad.
Was it?
Yeah, it was bad.
Now, to be fair, did you watch this when it aired?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, when it was aired, it was incredible.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But watching it again, like my husband and I sat down and watched it because I wanted to show him. I loved Battlestar Galactica so much, and it was laughably bad, and this sucked.
Okay, good, because I didn't want to be offensive to you.
No,
but I was just like,
it was just laughably bad.
I think it was maybe 10 years ago. I don't remember, but my brother had, I don't know how I think maybe it was a streaming service. Maybe he bought the first season. I don't know what happened here, but for some reason we had it, and we were going to watch it together. I was so excited for like a sci-fi series because there's probably some good. I just haven't found it. I feel like sci-fi TV shows, there just isn't any that I like have been able to like. And I wanted to like this one, and I couldn't get past like a lot. And I think frack was probably the biggest problem for me. Like, just either say it or don't. But do we have to like?
It's a different world, so they say frack.
I guess, but like, I don't know. That to me was too cringy.
They do have a space battle though in season 3. That is some of the coolest television I have ever seen, and it still even holds up to this day. Yeah, it's well, you're not going to watch it, so it's spoilers.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay. So the last of humanity is on a planet, and the Cylons are controlling them. Okay. And there's rebels that are trying to get away from the Cylons. And Battlestar Galactica has come back to rescue the rest of humanity. And they coordinate with the rebels to take out the Cylons that are holding the rest of humanity. And so it's this giant ship, right? And it I don't know what the technology is, but like it drops down almost to the ground. This giant ship, and there's this huge air wave of just blowing stuff everywhere, and then it pops back up, and just all these fighters come out and stuff. It's just so well done, even to this day. It's so well done, and so worth it just to watch that particular scene.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it, it's like, wow, God, they spent so much money on this. It's so great.
How do you feel about like Star Wars?
Star Wars is great. I mean, the first. I don't even know how to talk. Okay, so the which ones are which ones? The earlier ones, the
original trilogy.
The original trilogy. Yeah, like I grew up with that. I like Star Wars a lot.
Yeah.
And then I hated Jar Jar Binks.
I hated Jar. Yep.
I hated it so much. It it like ruined. It wasn't, and I really thought that like I said, I'm bad with names, but Vader was a whiny bitch. So like he was just whiny, and so just stop talking. It's so bad.
Have you seen the Disney stuff?
Huh? No.
Have you seen the? Oh, okay.
I haven't.
Wow.
Well, that's not true. I saw one of them. I saw the one with Princess Leia, the one before she passed.
So yeah, okay. So
I think that's the first Disney one.
Yeah, because she's in two of them.
Oh, okay.
But the first one would be The Force Awakens, I think.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I hated those.
I don't know. It just didn't. Yeah. It didn't excite me. No. You know what science fiction show really, really, really was good?
What
was? Names. I'm going to describe it to you, see if you can remember. It is about people who can live forever. There's an implant in their neck, and they're basically their whole personality and stuff is downloaded into a new body, and it's about the guy gets downloaded and he's trying to solve a murder.
Was this an old show?
It was not particularly old. There's 2 seasons of it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
There's 2 seasons of it.
I think it got canceled though.
It did, because the second season was stupid. The first season though was quite good. I'm so bad with names. I even interviewed the author. Ugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I love his books. His books are really great.
I think I know what show you're talking about. I'm trying to find it.
Do you know? Hold on. I'm going to look it up.
I tried to look it up. I'm not finding it.
Hold on. I'll be able to find it. Give me 10 seconds here. Let's see. Oh, The Nevers is really good, by the way.
Oh, okay.
If you ever, it's on Netflix. Nevers is pretty good. Fringe is really good. I think Fringe was really good all 4 seasons. Fringe was great.
I tried to get into Fringe, but I think I was just so mad about Lost that I
It's fair.
Just stopped watching it. I was like, okay, I'll give them a chance, and then I was just like, I'm seeing a lot of questions here, if I'm remembering this right, but I remember being a little confused, and I was just like, you know what? We've already botched one show.
Oh my God, why can't I remember this? Richard, not okay. There's Richard Caudry, and then there's Richard. Maher, do you know?
I think he's a bit behind.
Why is he behind?
His,
Oh,
his
okay.
last on the stream, because his last comment is talking about Shannara.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, it's better than his hot take is that David Gemmell, whatever, is his trilogy is better than Dark Tower. Apparently, I don't know if that's the hot take. I feel a lot of people hate the Dark Tower.
Did you watch The Boys?
I did. That's a really good show. Speaking
Yeah.
of Amazon, I was holding on to this. I was gonna bring it up. Do you know Fallout?
Yeah.
The game. They're
Yeah.
making a show. It's already been filmed.
It's already on there, isn't it?
No, the production wraps. They're going to be releasing it. I think speculation is later this year. The live action Fallout show.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different show. Because I thought Fallout
Maybe.
was already. I thought Fallout was on Amazon.
No, they're making. I'm so excited for it though. Walton Goggins is in it as a ghoul. It's gonna be great. I think
It'd be fun. I'd watch that. Oh yeah, I'd watch that. That'd be great.
I love the Fallout world. So if they do a good job with the show, I'd be so excited. But I'm also worried because Amazon and TV shows have been not so great outside of The Boys. I feel like
They did really good with The Boys. They did really good. Have you read the comics?
So
have you read the comics?
I haven't read the. See, I'm not really a comics like manga anime guy. My
They're
issue
worth reading.
with them is like, yeah, I hear that a lot. I just like for me, it's like too many pictures, not enough text in a lot of like.
You're so I feel like picky. You're so
I know. But for me, I've tried reading like graphic novels, and like you read like a whole book, and I feel like I don't know, that's 2 pages in a normal book, and so I feel like not like nothing has happened or like one event has happened, and I just don't feel like I don't know. You're right. I am so picky.
Well, I've read a lot of. I love graphic novels, and I actually read the graphic novel first.
Oh, okay.
Which was really cool.
Oh,
and then they. What happened?
I don't know. Sometimes it like is very strange. I don't know. Apparently, I'm just going to be a blurry mess. I don't know why that happened.
I can still see you. But it's really sad actually because we're talking about comic book adaptations. So they made The Boys was great. They did a great job with The Boys. They did a terrible job with Why the Last Man. And Why the Last Man is a great book. Great series. But the movie was terrible. Hot take. The show was terrible. They had Paper Girls was pretty good. That's another excellent graphic novel series, and they made it into a movie or a TV show on Amazon, and it's good. It's really good too. Kind of a time travel-esque thing takes place in the 80s.
Okay.
It's good. It's entertaining.
The only graphic novels that I read like a couple of the Walking Dead ones. Like the anthology, so they're pretty thick.
Yeah, I've read most of them.
Yeah, they're not bad. But again, I just think I struggle with the medium more so than the content, if that makes sense. I think it's just like I want more text. I just want more like story. I feel like
I've got some pretty good ones.
I don't understand what's going on with this webcam.
Let's see, what do I got here? I got Adventure Zone, which is basically D&D.
Okay.
Really funny. Really funny.
Yay, we're back.
Like really great. And then I've got hold on a second. I'm gonna get my special edition. Hold on a sec. Okay.
Oh, okay. American Gods.
Yeah. It's the special edition hardback American Gods graphic novel series.
Nice.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of Neil Gaiman. Like,
I've never read anything by him.
my man, my friend.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It's
My
not that
friend.
I don't. It's there's so many things that I haven't read. So, for like example, I had never read Robin Hobb until just last year. There's a lot of big authors that I just haven't. I don't know. I know I'm way out on things.
You know, you probably read a lot of authors that I haven't read. So, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I haven't read a lot of Robin Hobb. I've read one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just started reading them. I have complaints, but I also really like it. I don't know. And I mean, I think Robin Hobb is like really good at writing, but I also think she's really bad at endings as well.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't read the whole series, so I know it's kind of like interconnected, but these individual trilogies are ending very badly, in my opinion.
Here, actually, let me show you something.
Neil Gaiman just had a show on Netflix, I think.
Oh yeah, he had
Sandman, right?
Sandman. Oh God!
I haven't
So
seen it.
he is my unicorn. He is my unicorn. Jim Butcher to interview Jim Butcher, Neil Gaiman, George R.R. Martin. They are my unicorns. I would love to interview them. Someday.
I need an explanation now for George R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you didn't.
Do you know George R.R. Martin has been around since the 70s? He's got multiple Hugo Awards. So
have you read other stuff of his then?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
Outside of, if I were to interview him, I would read everything. I would read up on everything. But yeah, he's got a whole 40 years of writing.
Yes,
he's written TV shows. He wrote Beauty and the Beast in the 80s. Like he has very interesting path that he's taken. So yeah, I mean, I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, he'd be a good get.
Yeah, I would love to talk to him. We pitched him a couple times. It would be cool. And I would love to talk to Jim Butcher. Here is one of the books from the Codex Solera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Princeps Fury.
Also as long as like Dresden?
No, it's 5 books.
Oh, okay.
And they're not big.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
5 books.
Okay.
And then this is one of my favorite books.
Who's that one by?
It's by Kelly Robson.
Oh, okay. I truly do not recognize that name. Did I?
I think. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you follow. I think this one won a Hugo.
Oh, okay. So it's like
either
it's big,
one.
then.
Well, it's recognized. I don't know if it's pretty big. I tend, when the Hugos and the Nebulas and stuff come out, I try to read all of them.
Okay.
And be familiar.
Oh my God, Mihir.
Altered Carbon. Yes, Mihir, you're the man. You were the man. Altered Carbon.
Yes.
I owe you a beer. Thank you.
Richard K.
Morgan. Yes, I have interviewed Richard K. Morgan. Yes, God.
I still can't believe I couldn't remember that because I tried. So I watched an episode or two, and right when I tried watching the show was when it like got announced that it was canceled, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you know what? The first season by itself, fabulous. Just watch the first season. It's like as a single entity, and it's really good.
Oh, okay.
Forget that there's even a second season because it's a new body. It's a new body. It's just go to the first season. Quite good. Yeah. Yeah, and Richard K. Morgan's amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
I hear that name a lot. I've never read
Yeah.
anything by him either. I'm not very well read. Okay,
It's okay. It's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
a
Like I
writer.
said, you've written. I haven't written.
Well,
Well, okay. One year I did it. I actually did calculate how many words I wrote 1 year for reviews
Oh yeah.
on Before We Go, and I was at 500,000.
So you write. That's crazy. That is so much more than I've written in a year. Of any year I've been writing. So that's
It sounds like reviews. It was like a review a day.
right.
You know,
I know it is different types of writing, I suppose. But
yeah,
even so.
it's a review a day, and it's a little
That's
bit of the explanation of the book, so it's not all my writing. But yeah, like
right. Yeah.
know,
Still though, that's pretty great. The
yeah,
I don't know. I do see that there seems to be this thing with authors, a lot of authors, not all of them, where if you're writing, it's almost like your energy for reading is like depleted to a certain point. Like you can't like
Mhm.
binge read as much. I don't know if that's because we're writing or I know some authors specifically don't like to read when they're writing because they don't want it to like influence the writing. I guess I don't really know, but
It makes me think of chefs. Chefs don't cook gourmet for themselves when they come home.
that's fair.
They want a Pop-Tart, you know, like
yes, right.
they don't want to cook. They don't want to cook gourmet for themselves. So maybe it's something like that. You guys spend all of your energy creating this world, and then you're like, I don't have any more energy in my brain right now to dive into somebody else's world.
Like I still read, but I read like depending on the size of the book, like maybe a book or two a month.
Well,
Maybe.
that's still good.
And that's like um that's like a good month maybe. Like
There's
sometimes I
no
don't
shame in that. That's good. You're reading.
But-
That's good. There's no shame in that. You know,
well, I mean, I
I've
agree. I think everyone should read,
yeah.
but
You
at their own
write.
pace, of
You're on
course.
your second book. That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
amazing. You
I
know?
mean, it's pretty. I can't complain. It's been good so far. I've written, the Trials of Ash Mountain came out last year on June 1st,
Mhm.
and Buzzard's Bowl is coming out this year on June 1st. So it was like a full year between release. I think that was pretty solid. And book 3, I would like to do the same, but it's going kind of slow with the writing.
What's the name of book 3?
What's the name of it?
Do you have a name?
I do have a name. I've not told anyone.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
then
will
don't
tell
tell
you.
me.
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll reveal it right now. If anyone sees this, they will be pleasantly surprised, I guess. But book 3 is called City of Eagles.
City of Evils?
Of Eagles, the bird.
Eagles. Okay. City of
Yes.
Eagles. Okay.
So that probably sounds like a random title, but it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. You got buzzards. You got buzzards. Well, you got birds.
The funny thing is, there is not much to do with birds in my book. I mean, there is a little bit, but buzzards are not in my book. It's just the name of a gladiator. There are buzzards that are mentioned for like 2 seconds, but yeah, I don't know. But I still like Buzzard's Ball. I think that'll be my favorite title.
Here, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's say Orbit comes to you and wants to publish you. Do you do it?
So I am 1,000% yes with traditional publishing. I want to be traditionally published like so badly.
Okay.
That was always my dream. I know that there's a lot of indie authors who are against that, and I understand. Everybody has their own.
There's a lot of sides to it, so that's why I ask.
Yeah, as long as I would probably have to talk to people behind the scenes, make sure that like it was not a bad deal or something, right?
Mhm.
And I would want to verify with someone that maybe knows more. Like, is this good? Like, is this agent reputable? Is the
Mhm.
deal good? But assuming that it all is a very normal deal. Let's not get crazy. I'm not Legends and Lattes, so a very normal deal. And I was offered that. I would take that
Okay.
without any hesitation. There's so many things. First of all, the reach, I feel like, is so much better. I know that people say they don't market your book, but I feel like as soon as you're traditionally published, you've just unlocked like this lock that all of a sudden you've now reached so many more people that you might not have the potential.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. That used to be very, very true. Absolutely. Right. But I feel like the market is changing very quickly because of the impact of influencers. And
yes, like YouTubers and stuff, yeah.
You know, not even like, not me, not Twitter, but
no, you. I think you were fairly in there.
Well, I was going to say TikTok. The TikTok.
I don't know anything about TikTok.
Okay. So there are TikTokers, and specifically for romance. Okay, there are TikTokers who have championed books, who have got them published.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They are so powerful in their reach that they have championed a book and got it published. So it feels like the whole dynamic is changing. You know, I really am curious where it's going to be in about 5 years. Because people don't use brick and mortar stores as much as they used to. So, you know, you've got publishers putting books in brick and mortar stores. That's great. But it doesn't happen as much as it used to. So the publishers would be working with bloggers, would be working with, you know, Instagrammers, TikTokers and stuff. And I feel like the whole thing is changing.
Now,
I feel like the whole thing is changing.
I agree. And I think that the willingness of all of the people in the community that are reviewing books to promote indie authors have really elevated or leveled maybe the playing field between like indie and traditional, which is great. And there's so much behind the scenes work when you're self-publishing.
Yeah.
That like sucks.
You got to wear every hat.
And you have to pay out of pocket for a lot of the stuff. So that's like another thing that I would love to not have to deal with is all the, you know, you have to get this cover. So you get the image of the cover. Now you have to put it on the Ingram Spark template and make sure it's sized. But when you resize it, it just ruined part of the art because, you know, and so I can't do that. I have to pay someone to do this resizing. And so all of that is just so annoying to me that I would love to be traditionally published. However, I am concerned about the traditional publishing because it seems like if you do well as a traditionally published author, and then we'll say like you do well as a self-published author, it seems like you're more likely to make money, more money as a self-published author.
Yes, you would.
And so that's like, I don't know. It's like the dream has always been to be traditionally published, but then it's like, but now it's just things are shifting towards indie publishing. So it's like, I think while my knee-jerk reaction is to say definitely, I'd have to think about what the deal is, what is the offer, because it's just like, I'm not a big author. I haven't done anything that's like, oh wow, now you can stay at home and write forever, even though I stay at home and write right now, but I can't maintain that forever. But so far it's going well. And I've seen, for just being published a year, not even a year, I haven't even been published a year. June 1st will be a year. I feel like I just see my books on Twitter constantly right now, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so it makes me think, well, if I was offered traditional publishing tomorrow, what if I just waited a year? Because things so far have been going so well that what if I just,
I don't know.
I'm almost a year in. I've had ups and downs, but like this month, we're only the 19th. And right now, I've already sold almost 100 books of just the Trials of Ashmount, which is mind-boggling to me because I had a couple months when I first published where I hit that, but then I went down, you know.
Mhm.
But now it's going back up, 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 and I'm like, oh my god, like maybe I should just keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, there are some extremely successful self-publishers.
Yes.
You know, C.T. Phipps, he writes for Before We Go, and
Yes, I know.
and
I
for
see his
Grimdark.
reviews for stuff.
Yeah, man, he is very successful. Writes great books too. Really fun books, and yeah, that I believe that that's his job. I believe that he makes a living as a writer.
Oh, okay. Like,
But you know,
well,
I don't.
okay.
There is not a lot of writers that are traditionally published that's actually their job.
That's true. A lot
Yeah.
of them are like, actually, I think most of them still. So it's like, I don't know. It seems like if you're successful, go self-publishing. But it's
Yeah.
like really, I feel like it's hard to be successful in self-publishing. It's you know, it's rough. I don't know what Mihir is talking about with this. He unfortunately got a few opinions at Twitter that pissed off people. He's very
Richard
smart.
Morgan. You're talking about Richard
Oh,
Morgan,
okay.
right? Yeah, because he's very opinionated.
Oh, okay. I haven't
Very
heard any
smart guy.
controversies of him. That's
He's
interesting.
talking about Richard Morgan or Brian Vaughan. Could be Brian Vaughan too.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Vaughan's very good. He's another graphic novelist.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta be careful with your opinions on Twitter.
Yeah, don't get a hot take. Don't get a hot take.
Oh my god, I know. I always have to like quiet myself because I always want to say things and I'm like, that's a bad idea. I just keep it to business on Twitter. Because I don't really want to. I don't know why people keep doing this. Why isolate fans? Like,
Don't.
I don't get it. I don't care what you're doing in your personal life, what you believe, what you voted for. I just want your money.
So, are you talking about like authors going after fans?
Okay, so for an example, I saw, I don't want to name the name publicly, but I did see an author who basically said something like, if you believe in God, stop interacting with me, basically. And I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and you know what? I know exactly the situation. And I think that he was having a really bad day.
That's possible. And
he was having a really bad day. And because he came back later and talked about very publicly about it, and and he apologized, but it was very sincere. Like, it was just, I think he was having an extremely bad day, and that happens.
That does, and that's a problem with social media in general, because you're so quick to like ejaculate your thoughts.
So my thing is, like, let's be honest here, I am pretty liberal. I am.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm really liberal. And so while I do a lot of book stuff, because the book community, I also read the news and comment and stuff. And that, like, I have this thing where I like write a really pithy comment. I look at it, delete.
Yes, I know.
Can't do it. That's not going to make anybody happy.
I'm not sure, but he's maybe City of Eagles, maybe Buzzard's Bowl. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, he's talking about your next book. Yeah, he's talking about the title.
But yeah, I don't know. I like to make my titles unique in a way so that they're like, I don't know. I don't think City of Eagles is unique though, really. But that's okay. It's the name I needed. So
The cover is the most important thing. Honestly,
I see. That's okay. So
cover's the most important
I
thing.
didn't. I forgot to make this point when we were talking about traditional versus self-published.
Mhm.
So if I got traditionally published tomorrow, like I wouldn't be able to keep this.
Nope.
And I would get, not to dog on this person, but something probably like this.
Not necessarily. Not
Well,
necessarily.
I know, but like, or like this, you know?
No,
Or
that's crap. No,
listen,
you
there's
have
a lot of crap covers on traditionally published books.
you
And,
do have some say in what your cover looks like. Like you
yeah,
do, at least the conversations that I've had with authors, I've asked them about the covers. And while the covers are often designed by they have cover designers that work with the different publishers.
right.
They do have some input on it, you know?
I get that, but like my input would be like this.
I have some really,
Like I really like fantasy landscapes,
yeah.
and that's not really done so much anymore. I feel like
The thing, if you're going to publish traditionally, you have to think about what the market is trending towards.
that's true.
So if the market is trending towards fantasy landscapes, like it was in like the late 90s.
I know, I miss those days.
Yeah, fantasy landscapes, then your book would probably have a fantasy landscape. But right now, the trend is more minimalistic
I know, I can't
covers
stand
with
it.
good typography. So, you got to go. They'll push whatever the market wants.
I know, I can't. That's like the one thing that I hate. I can't get
That's
behind
just
it. I know.
that's just part. It's part of it. And but if you're a self-published author, you have more control over that. The most important thing is your cover, honestly, and it needs to look good in the thumbnail, because that's how
true.
people are going to be shopping for your book. They're going to
Yes.
see a thumbnail on Amazon or on their phone or whatever, and you've got to have a good picture.
Yeah, the thumbnail.
So that at least
is,
they
like,
get
the most important thing.
interested. Yeah, so at least they get interested.
Right.
Just be a trendsetter. Make your own market. Bad advice.
I mean, I was always told
Hot
when
takes.
before I was before I was getting the cover art for my books,
Mhm.
I was told, like, listen, the market trends are like an object on the cover, or like a single person on like a dark background, or
Yeah.
I can't remember all the and I was just like, none of this is fantasy landscapes. And they were like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, I'm going for fantasy landscapes. And you know what? If that makes it so that I sell less, I guess that's what happens. But I can't, like, I just wanted like full art, like, amazing detail kind of type cover. And I don't know if that's hurt me. I feel like I get a lot of comments on it. So
Your
it's
second
hard.
cover is really good.
Oh yeah, I love this.
I'm being honest. Your first cover is okay. Your second cover is very dynamic. It's really good.
I love the second cover. It's funny. The second cover is like the cover art that I was thinking of when I was looking for the first cover. I was like, I really want this art. Who can do this art? And I found the guy. But the first cover, I was just like, I don't know what to put on the cover, so I did Ashmount as the cover. I don't know. It's good. I like it. I think it really stands out in thumbnail form.
It does.
But the cover number 2 is like so cool. I love that cover, especially when you like. At first, it looks like 2 ships on like at sea, and then if you look closer, you see like the Colosseum wall in the background, and I don't know. It's just I really like it.
Well, and it's great, and it's a dynamic color. It's a really good. It's a really, really good cover. You know who I think has the best cover? Well, there's a couple people that have really, like Rob, um, Rob, Rob, Rob Wolf. What's his name? God damn it! It's the name thing again. Like I feel like I'm so bad. Anyway, yeah, he wrote a wuxia fantasy, and he had incredible cover for it. Bengali has really great covers. What is his name? He was in SPFBO last year, I think, the year before. And it's like a giant, it's in the ocean, and it's like a giant dragon or something, and somebody on a boat, like looking up at a giant.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. There's some great covers have come out of SPFBO now.
Yeah, your group this year in SPFBO, I know
calling
almost
us
everyone
death,
in it.
They're calling us the death group again.
I don't know. I was looking at all the groups, and as I was scanning through, I was like, oh, Before We Go blog is in it again. And I looked at the group, and I was like, oh my God, I know like almost everybody who's entered into this group. That's crazy.
Yeah, they actually they removed a couple people out of the group. They moved it around a little bit, which was good. Last year was really difficult. It was a really difficult group for us.
Oh my God, you guys last year, I saw who was in it, and I was like, I'm fucked.
It was God. Last year,
you guys had so many big books.
We had at least 6 that could have been finals.
That's crazy.
At least 6. There is a couple books that people read twice because I liked them so much.
Yeah,
like, I remember. It's but that's part of the contest, you know.
Right.
It's part of the contest. It's just, you know, we'll probably have another Senlin this year. We'll just put it out there. I don't know. You never know. It's a long process. So we'll see what.
Yeah, I can't imagine, but it's awesome that like you guys, you know, do that. It's a lot. I feel like it's a lot of work, and
it's a lot of work.
Crazy how many people volunteer for it, and that's awesome and very like appreciative. Anyway, I just realized what time it was, so I don't want to like
chat.
We've been having a fun time. You said an hour and a half, and whoops.
Can I ask you a question? What do you do for a living? Just my curiosity.
What do I do for a living? So that's an interesting question. I don't I'm just kidding. I don't do anything for a living, really. During COVID, I was an assistant manager at Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID happened, they were cutting my hours. They were cutting the help that I had. And I was so pissed off that I ended up contacting a newspaper an online news article place. And I was like, look at what they're doing. And they wrote this article about it, exposing this like franchise. And not too long after that, I quit after sending a strongly worded email to the CEO of the company as well. Because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like they took away a raise I was supposed to get. They took away vacation time I had. They took away hours of my weekly. I used to work 50-hour weeks. They cut me down to 30 something, I think 30, 35. I don't remember exactly, but they cut us way down. And I was like, this isn't really fair because I make all my money in overtime. And then I was expected to work my ass off because they wouldn't let us have people, but we were still getting slammed because, you know, and so I quit. And when I quit, I was like, it was right in the height of COVID. Like everything was shut down. No one was hiring. And so I was like, I had enough money saved up. I had paid off my car, and my mom runs a King Charles Cavalier like dog breeding thing. Mm-hmm. And so I actually own a dog. And so I kind of live off the money from that dog. It's enough money that I can pay my bills because I don't have a ton of bills. I live with my mom because my dad's in the nursing home with dementia, and I moved back home just because she's here alone and I'm not doing anything. So that way we can both have company, I guess. So I decided I would write and try and fulfill my dream of being an author because I always wanted to be. So I wrote The Trials of Ashmount during COVID, and I helped my mom a little bit with my dad because he was still here at that point. And then he got bad enough where he went into a nursing home. And then I published The Trials of Ashmount, and I was like, well, I'm already here. I'm paying everything I need to pay. I'm able to afford the editing and the cover art and all of that. So I'm going to just try and see if I see like increases as I publish books. Do I get better? Do sales increase? Am I going to, and if I do keep seeing like growth, then I'll just keep doing this because ideally I would love to just do this full time. I just want to be an author. I've always wanted to be an author. I wrote a full novel when I was 19, and it was trash, but I did it. And I always wanted to. So that's like what I'm doing now is just I write technically full time, although I have not been writing a ton lately. I've been so busy with trying to get Buzzard's Bowl out there. I also have a short story anthology that I've been editing. Sarah just gave that back to me, so I've been working on that. So I don't know, just a lot of work, a lot of social mediaing to get my book out there.
It's really important.
Yeah,
It's really important.
So I guess I don't.
Kind of a similar story. Like I'm pretty high risk for COVID, and so we were living in our home. My daughter stayed home and we homeschooled her, and we didn't leave the house for 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't
either. We didn't leave the house for 2 years because if I got the original COVID, it would have killed me easily. Would have killed me. And
I suspect that's the same of me too, because I have a history of asthma. So
I have asthma too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want to get it. So I didn't go anywhere. I was working and I was kind of worried. And that's another reason why I quit was like, I don't want to get this and die. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
I know people who died. Like, I know people who died. I know people who have long COVID. Lots of people who have long COVID. And so, in the middle of this, my father's 80, 85, 86. He took a bad fall, and we ended up moving from Portland to Las Vegas in the middle of COVID, which I do not recommend. And I stayed over there for I was living over there for like 5-6 months while I juggled. Both my parents were in wheelchairs, so I was taking care of them while doing Grimdark, while doing Before We Go, while being a parent and wife and all that stuff too, because my mom came down with polio, if you can believe that. She came down with polio, and so so my dad was in a wheelchair and he was recovering, and then she one day lost her ability to lose her legs. She fell down and she couldn't get back up, and she called us from the floor, and she has one thing they don't tell you about polio is that there is she was one of the last polio cases in the United States, and polio comes back when you're elderly. Polio comes back. It can come back, and it did. And she lost her whole right side.
Oh wow!
Her whole from her, I don't know, chest down her right side, and so I had to take care of both of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was
polio. I didn't think that we were still having.
Yeah, it's not spreading. It's not that. It's
Right,
just
right.
because you carry polio in your
Yeah.
body, and it erodes the nerves or something. I don't know. They told her to find a polio specialist, and she's like,
Where? I mean, maybe in
Okay.
like Africa, but like,
Okay, find a polio specialist. Okay.
right. I don't know if there's like anyone like who in America is still studying polio. I don't know because I thought it was gone, but apparently it's not all the way gone.
No, but
Um,
she's, you know what? She's amazing. She's an amazing woman. And she worked and worked and worked. And I we got in the pool. I helped her. I carried her basically to the pool, and we did stuff in the pool, and I'd get her out of the pool and get her into the wheelchair. And, and she got up walking, and she's walking with a cane now. She's still very unsteady, but she's trying. She is trying. She takes care of my dad.
oh wow.
My dad is not an easy man to take care of. He is a Southern, like,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why we moved. So I live in Las Vegas. I miss Portland, but I live in Las. Thank you. Never Die. Rob Hayes. Rob Hayes. Great cover. See, Mihir comes in with in the clutch. He knows all these covers and authors and stuff. I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
I'm just really bad with remembering names of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I have to have my computer open to stuff. I remember.
I feel like if I've consumed it, I have a really good memory for like the name and the author, but only if I've consumed it. Otherwise, I don't know. I just have this really strange memory where I just like remember all the names of stuff I like and like all the authors and stuff. You want to talk about the inside of the book, that starts to fade away. But
I got COVID in December.
Oh no.
I did. I got COVID in December. I got quite sick. I got very, very, very ill. And I think I have long COVID in that I didn't used to have such problem remembering the names of books and stuff. It's just, it's like, it's a little bit fuzzy. Very strange. It's getting better. But yeah, I had wicked COVID, man. Wicked bad.
Yeah,
have you got it yet?
I've never had COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy about that because I don't think that COVID nowadays is really the same as it used to, like not as
no,
bad
I mean if you're vaccinated.
It still sounds pretty terrible. Yeah. And it seems like the strains have kind of changed to like a lesser form from what it sounds like. So it's not like, when that first started, everyone was dying and it was like, gee, what the hell? This is not good.
I remember driving on the freeway because we go for drives and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember driving on the freeway, and there's a big hospital that's by the freeway.
Oh,
and I saw the body buses.
Oh my God.
In the back of the hospital. Like, I don't know why people are saying it's not real. I saw it with my own eyes.
Because people are stupid.
Just there's like 6 of them. They were semi trucks backed up, refrigerated semi trucks backed up to the hospital because people were dying so quickly.
Well, and I live in New York, and so New York City was having.
New York was bad, right?
Yeah, New York was terrible, and there was like images going around of just bodies covered, lying outside, waiting for like places to go, basically.
Yeah,
and it's just like that's crazy. COVID last October.
2 weeks.
Coming out of my ass for 2 weeks.
I got it, and then this just worked out really well. I actually had a doctor's appointment scheduled for the next day for something else, and I took I took a dive real quickly, and I couldn't talk, and I was coughing constantly, and it was bad. And they heard me coughing and stuff, and so they sent over the antiviral medication, and I took the antiviral medication at the right time, and I think that saved me from hospitalization and stuff. But like even with that, I was sick for the whole month of December, January.
That's like crazy.
It was, yeah. My whole family came down with it at once.
That sucks. I don't want COVID. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And some of the long-term, like, permanent side effects and stuff, that sounds not great. Losing, like, taste for one. Like,
I know.
was that something that happened?
Smell. Actually, yes, I lost my sense of smell. My little bit of sense of smell that I had. I was coughing, and I was sitting at my desk. We have a pretty big bathroom. We have an ensuite, pretty big bathroom, and I was sitting there, and I shoved a perfume bottle at my nose, and I couldn't smell anything. And I'm like, oh, there goes my sense of smell. I didn't lose my sense of taste, though.
That's good. If people lose that forever, and some of it, I don't know if it ever comes back, but it sounds like it's forever. And I'm just like thinking, how sad is life without tasting food? Like, yeah. I'm a big foodie personally, so like that would kill me.
Yeah, I love to cook and stuff. Yeah, that would just suck. Trying to cook and do fun stuff and not being able to taste. But no, I was lucky. I didn't get that. I got pneumonia. So I got COVID, and then I got pneumonia.
That's rough. That is really rough.
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
that's my sad story.
Seems like you made it out of it. So that is good. Not being hospitalized and intubated.
My sad COVID story.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds rough.
We're just sharing everything,
Yeah.
We're shooting the shit, right?
We are shooting the shit. That's what we do here. I don't know. I like just seeing where it goes and whatever direction, and not having a plan for the most part. It's nice just to
it is.
Talk about whatever pops up. I feel like a lot of, structured conversation is good, but sometimes it's fun to just shoot the shit.
Yeah. Who are you going to talk to next?
I have no idea.
Ask Sarah. Ask Sarah and see if she does it.
I've been talking to her about it. I've asked her. She said I would do it, but I also don't think people would be interested in talking. Oh my God, Sarah, stop it.
She's so amazing. Just Sarah, if you see this, you were so amazing. Just do it.
So I have talked to her, and she is on my list of people to schedule. I think there's a few other people I want to ask.
John would be great.
John Morrow was, I was about to say that at the beginning, but I didn't want to say it when he was here and put him on the spot, because I haven't actually directly asked him, but I do plan on asking him. I don't know. I like talking to whoever, really. I don't plan on doing this every week or whatever. It's just kind of like, oh, you're cool. Do you want to talk? So I got Nick Borelli was my first.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Yeah, I love
Nick Borelli's great.
Then I did it with AJ Retker, the author.
Uh-huh.
And then I did Me Here.
Yeah.
And now you.
Yeah.
So not a bad group.
Not at all.
So
did you talk sports with Nick? I feel like there was a lot of sports talk.
I think he might have wanted to, but I don't know a damn thing about sports.
Sports ball.
I hate sports. Yeah, I'm not a sport. I'm the most I'm the worst man, I feel like, because between sports and cars and other masculine activities, I hate them all. And so if you're one of those bro men, you won't like me probably. I just won't be able to talk with a lot of what you're saying, I guess. I don't know. I've never watched sports on TV in my life. they're just
Yeah, me either.
boring to me.
Yeah, my husband doesn't watch sports either. I don't know, sports ball.
I mean, I know that the Super Bowl is in I kind of know when that happens because when I was at Burger King, it was always a big thing, which was annoying because you'd get like these bus fulls of people that were going to like the Buffalo Bills games or whatever, and that was always annoying. But yeah, sports aren't for me.
And let's be honest. I mean, you watch the Super Bowl for the commercials.
I've heard that, but why?
Because they're good. Because they're entertaining.
But there's still commercials, Beth.
There's still okay. There's still commercials, but that would be the only reason I would watch. I mean,
I'll admit,
especially movie trailers. Especially movie trailers, because they do some big movie trailers.
I think some game trailers have come out then too.
Mm-hmm.
But man, watching all of that for a game, it gets posted on IGN an hour later. I'll just watch it there.
Speaking of stuff to get excited about, completely forgot about this. Borderlands, the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a stupid amount of hours in Borderlands 2 also.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I've played Borderlands. I haven't played like a ton of it, but I've played. It's fun. I like games with like loot too, so that's fun. I just never. I don't know. My brother and I have played some of it, but we never like played a ton of it. It's good though.
Me and my husband played thousands of hours. Borderlands, thousands. In case, I keep talking here, but I'll just tell you this really quick.
That's fine.
So he is very. My husband is an engineer. Like he's a computer programmer. He's a senior programmer, and he's very like he's gonna shoot with a rifle sniping from 500 yards away, and I am the person that would jump in the middle of a fight with a grenade.
Okay, I think I play more like you.
Yeah, and just like blow stuff up. Yeah, I human shield. So we played really well together, and it was a lot of fun. So that's why we have so many hours together.
Yeah.
Or we have so many hours played on Borderlands, and they're making a movie of it. So
I wonder how that's going to translate into a movie.
I have no idea.
Is it going to be as wackily like stupid? Because like Borderlands has really weird, wacky humor.
Yeah, it should be. It has to be.
Putting that into a movie.
Tiny Tina
might be weird.
You have to have Tiny Tina be Tiny Tina. You can't like
fair.
You can't like minimize Tiny Tina.
Did you play the Tiny Tina game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I get my favorite grenade.
Oh, okay.
The lightning grenade. Yeah, so what I would do was I would launch the turret that turns into a nuclear bomb in the middle of a group. And then I would jump in the middle, and then I would use my grenade and lightning strike everything, and then my husband would just pick everybody off. I would be dead by this moment, and then he would come, revive me. And that's just we had a 10-to-1 death ratio.
Wow. Okay, so you played the person that put the turret out?
Yeah.
So did I actually.
The turret was my thing, and I did. The turret, you get it into the nuclear bomb stage. It's like a mushroom.
I never got there myself, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was actually. I would love to start playing that again. That's so much fun. I just want to like rain fire down on my enemies and make them weep before me.
All right. So
did I say that out loud? So, wow.
This is Beth. She likes grim things. I mean, to be fair, I'm right there with you. I like death. Kill them all.
Just lightning strike.
Yeah, I see reviews for my book, other books, whatever, and they're like, this is too dark and too many bad things are happening. And I'm like, that's a bad thing?
Your dark little broken heart.
Right. Every time I see a review for like another book that I haven't read, and I see something like that, I'm like, I'm interested. Let's see it.
You have got to read The Malevolent Seven.
I have it on my tab, so I'll add it to my Amazon.
It's yeah, man.
Okay, Beth. I will read it for you.
Thank you. And you will see. You will understand.
All right. I have it on my TBR of some point. Right now, I'm rereading the Night Angel trilogy because it was so long ago that I read it that I don't remember it. So I'm not really far into it.
Let's see what I'm reading.
And then I have, of course, the sequel or the new book that just came out.
I am reading The Malevolent
after
Seven.
This. Okay. Oh, you haven't finished it.
No. This is The Malevolent Seven is different than the Maleficent Seven. There are two books. There's one by Sebastian de Castile that hasn't come out yet. And that's The Malevolent Seven. Sorry. And then there's one
by Cameron Johnson.
Maleficent. I think it's the Maleficent Seven.
Yep.
They're very close. Yeah.
Apparently.
Cameron Johnson. Yeah. And that's the one you want to read.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, my iPad died. Yeah. I'm reading that. And a whole bunch of other stuff,
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I got the right one then now, I think. Yeah. I think I had the wrong one loaded up before, but Cameron Johnston, right?
Yeah, he's got another fantasy series too that's really good. But that's a standalone. You'll know in the first chapter. You'll see.
Okay. Well, I will read this.
Dude, there's a torture scene in that book.
Reputation.
There's a torture scene in that book. Not to sound like a psychopath or anything, but it's ridiculous. Like he kind of did a hold my beer thing, like
Okay, that's ironic because I just wrote not long ago a torture scene in my book 3, so I will be interested in seeing what his is like.
Did you have him? Because like he makes the guy eat his own balls.
Oh. Well, that's what Rocky Mountain oysters, right?
Just oh my god. I'm
all
like,
right.
Oh my god. Really? Yeah, it's great. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I am someone that doesn't really have like a schedule or a life, so I don't have a problem. I just go until the other person is good to go.
I should probably go.
I know.
30.
It is,
my kids come knocking twice at the door.
Oh, it's 2. Yeah, we've been on 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
which is quite a long time over what we thought. So. Once again, for anyone that maybe missed the beginning, Beth Tabler is part of Grimdark magazine and Before We Go blog, and I have both of those links in the description down below. Check out both those sites. They're both fantastic. Anything Before We Go.
Yeah, and if you want to contact me on Twitter and say hi, please do. DM me, say hi.
Yes, I'm all about super friendly.
Yeah, I'm all about working with indie authors. Matter of fact, I was going to tell you, we should do something for your release, Jim.
Oh yeah.
Before we go, yeah, we should do something for your release.
That'd be great. I would love that.
Yeah, we should do something for your release. Like maybe we could do a release, and maybe we could do copies, giveaway, something.
Yeah, sure. I'm down for. Whatever. I appreciate the offer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And great. Someone's already going to check out your sites.
Thank you. Yes.
You'll see the fist. That's Right Shift is a guy named Jacob. Jacob, follow
Hi,
her on
Jacob.
Twitter.
Hi, Jacob.
All right. Well, thank you, Beth, for coming on. It was
Oh,
a
my pleasure.
great
This is a lot of fun.
conversation. I really appreciate it, and we appreciate everyone that showed up. It was a great conversation. So
Yeah. Yeah, thank you
yeah.
very much.
Of
And
course.
bye, Mihir. Is Mihir still here? Bye, Mihir.
I haven't seen me here for a bit, so he might have gone. I don't know. But anyway, thank you to me here, John, Jacob, and Jingle Heimer-Smith. Okay, so anyway. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you.